Hello, this is the Thursday Morning Buzz, the ultimate edition, the final edition of the
Top 5
spring
edition.
2021 semester. I am the host of the show today, Kenny Horn, the man of 1,001 nicknames, joined by top 5 Isaiah Ramirez, the co-host. No, wait, what was it? You, Carly. I got you mixed up with Tommy, who's not here today. You, Carly Campbell.
How do you mix me up with Tommy? We're distinct people. Like, listeners at home, is there a serious vocal difference between me and Tommy? Vote now on your phones.
You love sports.
Yeah,
I love sports?
Yeah.
apparently.
You're a huge Knicks fan.
No! Ew, gross. Do I look
Okay.
like I support New York sports, young man?
Young
Are we
man.
there yet, Lewington? So, welcome to the Morning Buzz. You haven't heard him today, Josh, aka Josh. He is gone today. He's recovering from a second vaccine dose, and interestingly, we'll have some more news on the vaccine later on. But right now, speaking of news, I forgot the nickname again. You, Carly.
It's
Tell us the
okay.
newscast.
You tried. I appreciate the attempt. You tried, but you kind of failed. So I'm gonna have to give you like a 5 out of 70. All right. So welcome to the
Okay.
okay. Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Morning Buzz. I'm Carly Campbell, and here are today's top stories. The United States Senate is expected to vote on a commission to investigate the attacks of the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. This measure has been opposed by Republicans in the Senate who are trying to downplay the attempt at sieging the Capitol. An anonymous letter from a member of the Capitol Police decried the Republicans for understating the impact of these attacks. Israel has sent more airstrikes to Gaza, injuring countless civilians and leaving one dead. The United States has pushed back on any measure to create a ceasefire in the United Nations. It is unclear if there will be a ceasefire by the end of this week. Ray's in Montclair was highlighted on a list of best restaurants in the United States by the American Express and National Trust for Historic Preservation. This list has given them a grant which will allow them a significant amount of funds, even though, according to an article by Patch.com, the menu never really changes. Weather, well, time to break out the shorts and the sunscreen, guys. It is almost summer and it's here to stay. High of 81 today with some clouds. Please stay hydrated. It's going to be quite a hot and heavy day. Little humidity. Tomorrow is not going to be much better. It's going to be 5 degrees higher in the temperature. And either way, pack a hat, pack some sunscreen, get some water, and enjoy this weekend as finals wind down. This has been the Wednesday edition of the morning. Oh my God, not the Wednesday edition. I'm a traitor. This has been the Thursday edition of the Morning Buzz's newscast. I'm Carly Campbell.
That's right. Drink your water. That's right. Hydration is important. What are you gonna do if
Hydration
you're
is
not
important.
hydrated?
On a day.
Spontaneously combust, I guess.
I mean, it's hot. I mean, what else would happen? It's too hot. I don't like the heat.
What do
The
you
heat makes me
mean
sad.
it's too hot right now?
It's
It is
too hot. 81
81.
degrees is too
You
hot.
both are
That
wearing
is
hoodies.
barely
Like,
that's
I'm the
barely
only
short
person
weather.
with. I'm the only person on this call. If you're listening to us on air, I'm the only person in the Zoom call because, of course, still COVID regulations. I'm the only person wearing a t-shirt. Everyone else on this call are wearing hoodies.
Okay, to
So
be
I
fair,
mean,
Mia lives in the UK. I have no idea what's going on there weather-wise, nor do I really care. Second of all,
wow, way to care for your contributor, Kenny.
Ooh.
This
decide,
is
why should I
leadership.
care?
We're exposing Kenny on the Morning Buzz. For those who are not aware of how WMSC works, Kenny is currently he's going to be the acting director of the Morning Buzz come next semester. Congratulations.
Starting tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow,
Tomorrow.
of course, because the semester here at Montclair State ends tomorrow. I forgot to add that in the Morning Buzzcast. If you are a student here at Montclair State, you are expected to move out by 6 o'clock on Friday night, or else you will face a $100 fine. I am already moving out. For those who don't know, I live on campus and I have been in pain.
I didn't know
$100
that,
fine.
but
Yeah,
that's
I didn't know
crazy.
if anyone knew that, but we do have a pre-recorded piece, I believe.
We do for later on when we come back from the break. We'll go
Of
to a little
course.
feature that you made, but before that, we're going to talk
My
about a whole
final
bunch of
project.
news. And first news, Mia, tell me what's going on in the UK, and I actually do care.
Okay, all right then.
Okay, so failures in England's test and trace system are partly responsible for a surge in the Indian variant in one of the worst affected parts of the country, a report seen by the BBC says. For 3 weeks in April and May, 8 local authorities in England did not have access to the full data on positive tests in their area. The number of missing cases was highest in Blackburn, with Darwin, Lancashire. A recent surge in infections there has been linked to the Indian variant. The government said a small number of people in contact with those who tested positive for coronavirus had experienced a temporary delay in getting a message from NHS Test and Trace. The other areas affected by what is thought to have been a technical glitch were Blackpool, York, Bath, and North East Somerset, Bristol, North Somerset, Southend-on-Sea, and Thurrock.
Okay.
You probably don't know any of those areas.
I don't. I was just gonna tell you.
I
Just
do.
give me that. Like, explain like I'm 5.
What?
If you're trying to amend relations with the United Kingdom, with our United Kingdom contributor Kenny, I don't think this is a good start.
No, why don't you just take over? I'm done. I'm leaving.
All right, this has been. Just kidding. I'm sorry for busting your stones.
No, it's okay. I've never heard that expression, busting your stones. That
I
doesn't
was gonna
matter.
say the same thing. I was like, what is
My
busting
uncle
your
uses it. My
stones?
dad uses it all the time. I have no idea what it means, but
Yeah, but Thurrock is right off of Route 26. You take a right off of Glen Avenue, and then it's right there. So
You said Glenn?
Glen Avenue,
Got
yeah.
it. All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, yeah. It's like a 3-mile trip or something like that from here. It's not too
Okay.
far. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. It's a long
No,
walk.
but this is a crazy kind of story because people have too much trust in apps. All right, people, stop trusting everything on an app. We got to stop selling our soul to our phones. And that's what I think about this. It's too much reliance on your phone, I think, is the general outcome from this story.
Okay. Well, what are your thoughts as a UK citizen, Mia?
Um, well, I've seen a lot of different opinions on it. Quite a lot of them. So there was a statement that came out that the government spent 38 billion pounds on this app, which was set up by Serco, SERCO, and it somewhere in these little web of rumors and statements and just stupid people not paying attention to all the facts, there was a lot of stuff going on Facebook and Instagram between UK citizens and that, saying that the government sent 38 billion pounds to Serco to set up this app, which is now having a lot of failures and glitches. But that's like a total myth. So a portion of that 38 billion was sent to Serco to set up the app, yeah. But the majority of that 38 billion is for the testing, for all of these people to get these tests whenever they need. So I'm seeing a lot of different opinions. One side saying that the app is there for your safety. Some people saying, oh, don't get the app, don't do this, don't, yeah, whatever. And where I'm working currently, so every venue that you go into, you have to sign in with this track and trace app. If you don't have the app, then you give your phone number and name. Yeah. So you give your phone number and name, and then they have your details if anyone there has been found to test positive for COVID. So then they can get in contact with you and say to isolate for 10 to 14 days. So people have come into my work and they haven't been wearing a mask. They've been exempt. They've had a little like card saying that they're exempt from wearing masks, but even if they're exempt from wearing a mask, they still have to sign in with either their name, phone number, or the track and trace app. But we've had to turn people away, saying that they cannot enter this building unless they sign in. And these people get so angry that they cannot enter a building because they don't want to give their information out.
Yeah.
Which I understand some people are secretive in that, but it's for their safety. It's genuinely just so they are able to people are able to get in contact with them to say, you need to be careful now, basically.
I feel like the UK is smarter than that.
Honestly, I
Like,
thought the UK was smarter than that.
This is an American thing.
Yeah.
That's how I. No,
Yeah.
but and by the way, you said 38 billion pounds. That for all of our American listeners, that is $54 billion roughly. And I really like the point you made about exempt from wearing masks. I've never even heard of that. So
Yeah.
they give you a little card. What would qualify being exempt?
So I'm not actually too sure because I haven't really looked into it as much, but it's people who are asthmatic, maybe a fear or like anxiety of small tight spaces or of their face being covered. I think even hay fever, that's something as well. Like if you get really bad hay fever, I haven't looked into it totally, and I do have one friend who is actually exempt. But I've seen quite a lot of people who are exempt from wearing a face mask. They tend to be the same people that are posting online to not listen to the government, basically.
I would figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems about right.
Yeah.
Americans, what are our thoughts on the exemptions? Because this blows my mind.
Well, as a former convenience store worker, people would just make things up like that. So they'd be like,
Oh my God. Same
I
here.
say, what?
I
You don't
worked
work
in
at Walmart anymore?
No, that is a grocery store. Okay. I used to work
sorry.
at a
I messed it up.
For those who
Yeah.
aren't here from the United States, Walmart is basically a giant warehouse full of
Walmart.
crazy people.
Wait, I have a side question. Mia, are there Walmarts in the UK?
I think Tesco's like the US, like the equivalent. in the UK.
I'm pretty sure Walmart and Asda are connected because we have an Asda, you have a Walmart which is red. What is it like? That's Target.
It's blue. Yeah.
Yeah, it's blue. Yeah. Yeah. So
Target is
you
just
have like
Target is just a red Walmart.
yeah, basically. But
No.
Yes,
Kenny,
it
Kenny,
is.
Kenny, take it back now, y'all. 2 hops this time for this one.
I worked at a Target.
Listen, no. Don't. I'm
How do
saying
they
this.
differ then? How do they differ?
It's a bougie Walmart. Like everything's more
Exactly.
pricey.
There we go. There we
I
go.
mean, that is
Isaias gets
actually
it.
true.
Yeah,
but
there's
that's not
definitely
as
a
funny.
difference, you
But
know.
that's not as funny.
Like I don't feel like I'm gonna get like jumped at like a Target. At a Walmart, I am on high
You haven't
alert.
been to the right Targets then, because that
You
is
have not.
a fun time.
I swear America has Costco.
We do, and I
Yeah. So
I
It's the
go to
best.
Costco with my mom. It's so weird because I'm a
I
grown
didn't-
woman. So
I
my-
didn't know we actually had Costco here, like at all. And we've only in recent years have we started getting Taco Bell and Costco's coming up a lot more.
Wait. So do you guys have like Wendy's? Because like I remember.
No. Although one is actually opening up soon. I think in Milton Keynes.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you have over there that we don't have here at all. Like
But I'm sure
Oh,
it's
yeah,
the same thing inverse.
Yeah.
yeah, but because the UK is like so small, we probably have a lot more. That's probably alcohol in them, but you cannot taste the alcohol at all. So I feel like you'd probably like that, but that's
I'm
a
20. I
UK
can't do
thing.
that.
Oh yeah, you can't drink.
Exposed.
what?
Mia Lewington has been exposed on the Morning Buzz for drinking under the.
drinking under the American age, but um,
I know. Come on in, coppers.
drinking under the American age. But what were we talking about? It was the phone, the exposure, right?
Yes.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. You can't drink yet. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. You didn't know it's a culture difference, but definitely I'm very concerned because like I had worked in retail over the summer and most likely I'll be working in retail again, hopefully in a different store. Sorry, Joanne Fabric. I can't do you. I can't do this anymore. Oh, that phrasing right there was terrible. Like I was usually a greeter and I would see customers coming in without a mask and I usually would act as a referee, like being like, "Hey, foul on the play, turn around, go get your
Yellow
mask."
card.
Person that would come in with a face shield and be like, "Oh, reason."
Nothing,
I
not
don't
much
mean to
makes
be
me more angry
ableist.
than a face
Yeah.
shield.
I don't mean to be ableist, but like
Why?
I have friends who have difficulty breathing and they wear masks. They wear masks that are adapted to make sure that they can be
That's-
safe out there.
That's one thing that I don't understand, right? People that are exempt from wearing masks because of asthma due to a pandemic that
I
deliberately
yeah.
targets your respiratory system, which is where asthma sits. So you're
Of
more
course.
at risk not wearing a mask than you are wearing one.
Right. And plus like the one thing I understand like people with asthma have every right to go out and do whatever they need, but at the same time, there are plenty of ways that you can go shopping or get food that don't involve you going out of the house and into crowded venues. And like I know here in the United States we just lifted a huge like I believe it was both indoor and outdoor or is like I know that in New Jersey we still have the mask mandate indoors, but I know that like some people are gonna take advantage of this without being vaccinated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna disagree with what Isaiah said before about the phone thing. He doesn't like the app. I think that's a great idea. And that the iPhones, I don't know if you know this, they have a little option now in the settings where you can turn on contact tracing.
Yeah,
And
I for some reason I got the message and my first instinct was to turn it off.
Oh, I didn't turn it on, but it's there.
Yeah. It's see that's what I mean. It's like the option is there, but I don't think people just want because then it's like they're tracking you. Well, they already
I
are, but it's like
Isaiah, you just ignored the tracking notification like it was a text from your mom.
I always respond to my
Oh,
mother.
you don't ignore your mom. That's
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, yeah.
god.
That
All
is
right,
a
back up.
cool.
dangerous
I'm
situation.
no offense. Please don't challenge me to a fist fight in the Target parking lot.
We do not ignore our mothers here on the Morning Buzz,
Never.
Well,
except Carly.
times.
Except Carly. But I like the idea of the more technology being used to help trace it, which is funny because I typically hate the idea of more technology being used for anything.
Yeah. Some people think it's just a way of others, well, people with more power controlling those who don't have power. That's this whole thing going on at the moment in the UK.
Don't get me started
Hmm.
about AI. But
Yeah.
that's a good place to leave it off with about power. And we have another story, and it's a really heartwarming one, but also very sad. And Isaiah, you brought it to the show today,
Yes.
and I love this story. Can you please talk about it?
Absolutely. So, a teacher disarmed a school shooter and hugged her until help came. So the story takes place in Rigby, Idaho, as students were preparing for final exams when gunshots were heard in the hallway. Krista Netting looked out her window to see the custodian lying on the floor, and she heard two more shots. So naturally, she has to get the kids together, and she tells their students, "We're gonna leave. We're gonna run to the high school. You're gonna run hard, and you're not gonna look back. And now is the time to get up and go." So as the kids leave, they're running away. The teacher goes into the hallway to help a student that had just been shot, and that's when she comes face to face with a sixth grader who happens to be holding the gun. She then calmly approaches the suspected shooter and gets the gun out of her hand. and just proceeds to hug the girl and just keeps on hugging her, is talking to her until the police eventually arrive and they have to put her in handcuffs. She's been charged in the shooting, and due to juvenile court proceedings, she is being kept secret. Her name's not going to be released, and the charges will not be named either. And that is the most wild story that I've heard.
I I I do have a bit of a question. So why, in my head, I feel like there's a bit of a combination of several different issues that need to be tackled in America. But what do you think is like the leading cause of why so many students get their hands on a gun and try to do those things?
That's the $1 million question.
Yeah.
That's the thing that we're all debating. That was such a hot topic in America.
Yeah.
Stuff like this, and really it depends on just where you lean politically in most cases. For me, it's I think just we don't have enough gun control. But there are people who disagree, and then there's just debate. But the reason I really like this story is because it brings the other side to this isn't how to prevent it, but it helps with, at least in this case, and I'm sure in other cases, not many, that a lot of it is internal. I would say most of it is internal. And it starts from somewhere, and intervening on a emotional level is what can prevent these kinds of things. At least that's what my first impression was.
So maybe something to do with mental health and
Yes, that's
how maybe like how schools approach mental health and the mental health of their students. Because I think it's like a mix. It's a mix of the issues to do with mental health and then the gun control as well.
Yeah,
Because
it's
I feel like they just feed into each other quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times it comes down to two things: is how their relationships are with like fellow students. A lot of times is that maybe they're bullied, but I think one of the major components is their home life. And for some of these people, like in the story, she was saying like it just felt like this girl has never been loved, as she's like trying to like calm her down or whatever. And I think that is a huge aspect of that, is that some of these kids, I guess, just never felt wanted or something like that in their own home. And I guess that's why something just clicks in their head to carry out these actions. But I think the most concerning part about this whole story is also update: the 3 people that have been shot, they aren't dead. They are just injured from the wounds, obviously, but they are very much alive. So luckily no one was killed. But how does a 6th grader not only get to the point mentally where they need to feel the need to shoot at fellow students and a custodian, but how did she get a gun?
When you say 6th grader,
she's
that
like
is
not
like 12
even
years
like,
old.
yeah,
12
she's not
years
even
old.
a teenager.
So yeah, that would be about year 6 for us. So yeah, that's wow. Okay, that's horrifying to think that even that young.
Oh, they happen often here that young, not as often as more,
Jesus.
teenagers, but they still happen.
I feel like this is the youngest that I've seen though. Like this is like, what were you doing in 6th grade, Kenny? I was playing like
Minecraft. By some
Minecraft.
crutch I had.
Yeah. See, it's like I don't understand how you can get to that level of in your head to where that is the actions that you feel like you need to take in life.
Well, I feel like a part of it is, and this is just a thought I have now, is that it's so prevalent in the news that it's something that just is a thought, and not a thought, but more of a like, oh, hey, this happens. Maybe I'll do that. If you're in that place where you're fragile and vulnerable enough to
Like
something like that.
here, the worst that, well, when students here are suffering from mental health issues, they will try and talk, and then they'll either get the help that they need, or they don't get the help they need. It goes on for however many years. And in some like really rough areas, a lot of students just get into the wrong crowd and they end up joining gangs and getting into drugs. I mean, everyone that I know who hasn't gotten help for their mental health, they have gone and just done recreational drugs. And I feel like it's kind of sad that that these drugs are more accessible than the help that they actually need. It's a bit like in America that guns are more accessible than the help that they actually need.
Yeah.
So,
And you bring up a really good point, because that's something that is also a thing in America. I can't speak for it, but I would just imagine as a thing worldwide, because it's not only is it easier to access than mental health services, drugs, but it's also just an easier way to feel out of it. Because I know people who have done exactly that.
mm,
And thank God they're clean and everything, but it's they call it the easy way out, which
yeah.
is, I don't, as much as I don't like that term, it's true.
One thing that always comes up, because my mum she works for the NHS and she's actually a mental health nurse. One thing
What is the NHS? Is that a UK thing, or am I just a bad
It's
Yeah,
National Health Service.
National Health Service?
It's
Thank you,
free
Carl.
healthcare.
Some we
So-
don't have.
We don't
Brag
have the United
about it.
States.
yeah. So yeah, every time that I've talked to her about my own mental health, or when I'm just feeling a little bit low, bit weird, she just says, like, try and find something that you can control. So there's people who get who suffer from bulimia or anorexia or even self-harm and stuff like that. When they do those things, it's so they are able to stay in control when it's at a time that they feel out of control. So I guess when a student gets hold of a gun and thinks that they now have control, they have control of this thing, they then, in a way, they're playing God in a sense. So they can choose whether to control this person's life or not. And it's quite scary to think that is where students go to to control something when they feel out of control.
Yeah, and
Right.
I really like that point about the control. And I think it was the Virginia State shooting years ago.
Virginia
Virginia
Tech.
Tech. Virginia Tech.
I do have a connection with the Virginia Tech thing. A resident in my hometown had tragically passed. He was one of the people trying to protect like an entire classroom. He was a
Jeez.
cadet. There's a memorial for him in my hometown of Dumont.
Wow.
Yeah, my point about that was that the shooter in that, they were a person who they got obsessed on the control, because I've read in things that they wrote and police reports and things, because this kind of thing you just get into a deep dive into sometimes.
Yeah.
And they were obsessed on the control, like I'm playing God kind of. And it's just crazy how many different aspects there are to it. And this side where this teacher just hugs a kid, while definitely not a solution and should not be done, because that's just dangerous.
Of course it is.
But
like,
It shows a way to intervene beforehand, is how
if you think about a 12-year-old compared to a full-grown adult, obviously it's going to be quite easy to go and do something like that because it's just an easy way to disable them, because of the strength difference. But
even then
yeah,
there's
definitely
distance.
don't do that when like there's I don't know, like a 15, 16-year-old.
Even then, with a 12-year-old, there's a distance, there's a range with a gun. That's the whole
Yeah,
point of
that's
it.
true. Yeah.
That's the whole point of it.
But a
But
12-year-old, I doubt they'd have any knowledge of that gun or
well,
how to
they
use it really.
were able to shoot 3 people.
Yeah, yeah. That's all they'll think, really.
Yeah, but it's very heartwarming but sad.
Mm.
I think this is one of my favorite stories I've ever gotten to talk about on the Morning Buzz. And I think just it shows a way, and this is becoming such a huge thing. It already has been such a huge thing for years and years and years here. And it's not a solution, but it shows a step in the right direction in my mind. And with that, we will leave you to a break. When we get back, we will be talking about something much more positive. We'll be talking about an adoption shelter and cats. Who doesn't love cats?
Today
Go on.
is actually National Rescue Dog Day, isn't it? Yep,
Yeah.
National Rescue Dog Day. So we'll be right back here on the Morning Buzz.
At first
And we're
glance,
back.
it's actually very difficult to spot the Montclair Township Animal Shelter. It's relatively small compared to the rest of the buildings up the street. It's behind 2 restaurants. You can already tell parking will not be the best, but it's a small blessing that when I had gone out to do this piece, I had rode my bike. If you were to listen carefully, between the sound of music from the cafes and the sounds of cars going towards Claremont, you can hear the dogs. And it goes without saying, the shelter is full of dogs. From a timid mother I had met on my way inside who had bundles of puppies, to a curious pit bull who had ended up sniffing my mic before barking so loudly I had to jump back in surprise.
Alright, puppy, alright.
But beyond the kennels for the dogs in the shelter, there was an upstairs full of cats. And of course, they were equally as chatty, if not more chatty, than the dogs.
Muffin? Hello, Muffin. How are you? Oh? Would you like pets? Would it be? Oh, am I allowed to pet her?
Yeah, just,
Be careful.
yeah.
Hi, Muffin.
She sometimes gets overstimulated.
Okay. Hi, Muffin. She's so cute.
The woman you hear in the background with me is Elizabeth Morgan. Morgan is the director of the Montclair Township Animal Shelter.
So, as a director, I do a little bit of everything. I'm not a director that has an office removed from the day-to-day happenings. My office is immediately when you walk in the front door. So I will do everything from, of course, ordering and arranging for medical, veterinary care, any kind of specialized care the animals may need, to kind of advocate for prices, and of course, ordering for the facility, managing the staff, and I'm also known to pick up a shovel and start scooping when we're shorthanded. It's important to be part of your staff and be part of the facility. You don't know the animals, you don't know what's going on unless you're up there and interacting.
The interview was in a room full of dog food, cat food, and other necessities needed to run a shelter operation this big. According to Morgan, this room initially was used for potential dog owners as a chance to see their dog in person. Now, due to the COVID-19 pandemic preventing all in-person adoptions, this room is more or less a storage space to hold all the donations from the community.
By the end of April last year, we were on full lockdown, and we actually got really creative too, because if you're not trained how to handle the animals, and if you're not trained to care for the animals would be in trouble. So the initial onset of this, we actually got very creative, even staff-wise. We split the days of the week up in teams, so that if, God forbid, one of the teams got sick, there was still another team to be able to care for the animals. So that was first things first. And then we became locked down to the general public.
The COVID 19 pandemic had also seen something Morgan did not predict happening, a rise in adoptions. At one point, Morgan estimated that there would at least be 50 adoption requests for one dog.
The first 6 months of COVID, the adopters that were showing up were animal shelter directors' dream adopters. These were the people who had always wanted a pet and just needed a section of time, downtime to acclimate an animal. And so those people came flooding out of the woodwork. It was absolutely wonderful.
And it goes without saying, Morgan was a bit skeptical of some of these adoptions, as seeing that some people were just in it for the pandemic, but she was more than willing to offer support to first-time pet owners in order to ensure that each dog can get their forever home.
The biggest part of it was to try to weed out what is a COVID dog, just for the lockdown, versus what's going to be a forever dog. So we always want place the dog to the best of our ability and to guarantee that that animal has a home forever. So as time has gone on, the applications have been a little bit different. We've always had a foster program if an animal needed to get out of here to get a break, a medical need, or were too young to be in the shelter. So we've asked people to be rigorously honest. Are you looking for an animal just for COVID? Because we have that for you too. We'll work with you.
Morgan is extremely thankful for every single bit the community has done to help keep the shelter running. At one point, when the shelter was running a little low on food, she had put out a request on Facebook for some donations. The next day, Amazon trucks swarmed the parking lot, and she had boxes upon boxes of food, supplies, and other necessities just for the animals in the shelter. She's extremely grateful for everything the town has done to help.
This community is amazing. I tell anyone who will listen to me, if you're going to do animal welfare, you want to be in the township of Montclair. I'm going to give you just an example. That the first thing that came to my mind. So the community is always reaching out. Hey, I'm going food shopping this week. What can you guys use? So the staples are Dawn, Original Blue, dish liquid, paper towels, bleach, laundry detergent. Those are staples. If somebody will phone and say, no exaggeration, at least once or twice a week, or we'll send an email and say, hey, I was just thinking about the dogs in the shelter. It's rained 3 days in a row. Can I order some special chew treats for them? What would be good? But I distinctly remember it was early on when I joined this team that we had a mom come in. It was a lab mix mom, and to give you an idea, to picture what she looked like, she was so skinny she could have been on one of those donation cans that you see, in the store. She was just so depleted and so deprived, and she had probably about 10 puppies. So we had to do two things. We had to make sure that she was okay. We had to get some of the pressure off of her of the nursing too. So we had a supplement. So I put out an Amazon list with goat's milk formula, wee pads, food, and just other assorted supplies. We literally had 2 Amazon vans pull up full of supplies that I just started crying. I mean, if I dug for it, I'm sure I could find pictures of at least one of them with the volunteers helping us take supplies off the van. I mean, yeah, all we have to do is say we need help, and the community's here. Even recently, we have 2 litters of puppies, and one of the moms came in really depleted, and we wanted to wean them as soon as possible. So one of the things we use is, of course, the formula that one of our FOMPTUS board members donated 10 cans of formula, and it's expensive. I also put out a post for a blender. We got 2 donated blenders and 3 brand new ones. Wow. Yeah, people are absolutely amazing.
As I was biking back to Montclair State after the interview, on my way up one of the many hills that Montclair has to offer, I saw a shelter volunteer walking a dog with a harness that read "Adopt Me" on it. This dog most likely would find a home very soon, thanks to the loving care of the community at large. For 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, I'm Carly Campbell.
That was The Shelter by, wow, I forgot your nickname again, you Carly. Carly Campbell. That was a great project. Our
Thank
general
you.
manager of the station, Annabella Poland, she was really wanting us to play that past few days. And do you want to tell us a little bit more about it before we briefly
Sure.
talk about our final story?
Sure, of course. So it's kind of a coincidence that this piece aired today because today is National Rescue Dog Day. Shout out to my dog who probably doesn't listen to the radio, but still shout out to him.
That'd be pretty
Good
cool.
boy. I wanted to do something about animal rescue for my final project because for those who don't know me outside of radio, I love animals. I mean, everyone loves animals, but like I have a dog. I rescue a lot of goldfish. And by rescue, I mean I adopt them from the feeder tanks of Petco.
Sounds like a rescue to me.
Yeah, pretty much so. I very much for a long time as a kid wanted to adopt a cat, and I during all of this came across the Montclair Township Animal Shelter on Pet Finder. There was this one image of a cat that had always stuck with me because most of the time when I go on Pet Finder, I do it very late at night when I'm trying to go to sleep and I want to see a cute picture of a cat up for adoption. There was one cat whose face was like so close to the camera, like it was like a fisheye lens almost, where his nose was like basically touching the screen. And every time I saw him, I was laughing. His name is Waldo, and he's
Did you find
adoptable.
him? I'm sorry.
Again.
I'm gonna
Okay,
leave. I'm
Kenny.
just
All
gonna go
right.
home.
He was I do believe I can find a pic for you guys. But so I saw that and I had done research into the shelter because of course I really want to volunteer somewhere in between classes. And when I had saw this, I thought, okay, maybe there's some way I could talk to the shelter. Maybe I could find a way wherein I could give back to the community in a way because I plan to knit blankets and all that, but I don't have a lot of time or resources to do so. So I had gone to the shelter and I actually found out that the director and I both share a like not really hometown. She works in the same town as I do that I grew up in, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, really?" So I'm gonna pull up a picture of Waldo real quick for you guys. Waldo, when I was recording, he was the only one who was out of his cage at the time, and he was like he kept on following me around and attacking my microphone. I wasn't able to put him on the recording because unfortunately he wasn't very chatty. Muffin, the cat I had featured in that one
Waldo.
portion. Yes, for those who are listening on radio and not on our Facebook Live, Waldo is like his eyes are like looking off into the distance. His little pink nose is like there. He looks like he acknowledges your presence but doesn't want to do anything about it. I
Just like all cats.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
That's why I love cats.
I love cats too. So I had gone there and seen Waldo. I'm very fortunate I got to visit the shelter because of COVID. I really, really think hold on, I'm gonna show you other pets available for adoption from the same shelter if that's possible. I believe Muffin has a sibling named Waffle, but I could be wrong. Hold on.
Those are
For radio
cats,
listeners, that's
little.
one of the
There's
cats'
a lot of
names.
cats on this listing because I think I might have just
Oh.
specified cats. I forgot which one, but
Confetti.
there was one that was
Why?
like very meowy.
Why are there so many ginger ones?
I don't know. Everyone just
You know why.
'Cause they're
Garfield.
ginger.
I don't know if it was Waffle or Rocket that was like the second most chatty, and
Aw.
I had to cut it from the recording because there was like too much audio because I had recorded about 2 hours of audio, wherein Waffle or Rocket were like sniffing the microphone, and they're like, "Oh look, it's one of your dead cousins," referring to the windscreen that I had used, which was like a for those who don't use like handheld
Oh
microphones.
no.
It's like a big fuzzy gray like cover for microphones. And I was like, oh my god. But the cats really found my microphone hilarious. Like they kept on attacking it. So hopefully
Yeah.
there wasn't as much cat hair.
Oh.
I do believe the puppies are going to be up for adoption soon, but I'm not quite sure. I think this one, I'm not sure. Actually, it was Haas. Haas is like a American Bulldog mix. He was the one that had sniffed my mic and then barked really loud into it. Shout out to him.
Oh.
Think it was this guy, like this boxer that I had saw on my way back, but I could be wrong. Either
Wolfie
way,
looks
all
cute.
these animals are available for adoption. If you are interested at the Montclair Township Animal Shelter, you must be over the age of 21 to adopt.
Wow, today's show has been amazing, but we need to take a quick little break, but we'll be right back. So while we're on break, guys, I think
Alright.
it's time for
I think
a
if we
Pokemon
like right away, I can tell that Kenny would definitely be an ice type because he's always freezing on the Zoom.
Yes, instant freezing.
Sorry, Kenny.
That's good. All right. Quickly, before we go back to the interview, while I get that working, what Pokemon would you all be? Carly, I already know your answer.
Okay, yeah, I'd be a Sunflora, like the little funny sunflower Pokemon. They just have good vibes, and I want good vibes.
I respect that one. I think for me, I'm gonna go with Alakazam because he's got a sick mustache and 2 spoons. Fun
think
fact:
that
I
you
eat
lack?
pancakes with spoons.
What?
Yeah.
I got
Let's
out of my
not get
chair,
involved with that.
Isaias.
We'll worry about that later. Mia, do you have an
Isaias,
answer?
you and me, Target parking lot. Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I can't like put myself to one. They're just too good.
This is your GCSE exam right here.
I'm surprised you know that.
I grew up with 2 teachers as parents. I know quite a bit about the horrors of exams.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Gotta be Klefki.
Do you know what? I've done so many I've done so many quizzes of like what Pokemon would you be and all of that, and it's just like I can't remember any of them because I never think that any of them suit me.
It's
Hmm.
not
just
about
trying
the
to
quiz. It's about what's inside me.
I know, but like I don't know which one I really fit. Like psychic, mystic. I don't
do it.
know.
You can do it. All right. Well, while you try to figure out an answer, I will try to figure out mine.
Here
I
on
would
9.3
say
WMSC Upper Montclair.
You beat me to it. But I'm gonna try to figure out mine. I think I'm a Squirtle.
Really? That's
think you are?
that's what you came up with, a
Where's the
Squirtle?
confidence? Kenny, where's the confidence? You think you're a Squirtle?
I don't know. It's a hard question. I came up with it.
Mia's
Mia, do
like,
you have an answer?
like yikes! He doesn't think he's a Squirtle. Probably doesn't think he's a Squirtle.
No, but Squirtle's always the one that I choose.
Really?
Always.
Squirtle. I don't think I'm a
Yeah.
Squirtle. That was just a guess.
Squirtle Squad over here.
Well,
Squirtle
okay, the
Squad.
one that I can remember that I've always got, like when I've done quizzes and all of that, is Porygon.
Ooh.
The weird duck thing.
Interesting.
That's the thing that ended up almost getting the show canceled in Japan.
Oh yeah, that sounds like me. Yeah, I'd be the reason something would get cancelled.
Okay, wait. Snorlax. I'm a Snorlax.
No,
I
you
like
are
the
not a
sleep.
Snorlax.
You don't even
Don't-
look like a
don't
Snorlax.
put yourself
You can't
down like
pass
that.
as
Look like it.
Snorlax.
Do you look like an Alakazam?
I hate to break it to you, but I have 2 spoons on me right now.
Bring them in. I don't believe it when I see it. I don't believe it. I gotta see this.
Do you sleep a lot? Is that why you're Snorlax, or you identify with the
I
person?
like sleep a lot and I like food.
Okay,
you know
that's
what?
fair.
Everyone
That's
likes
fair.
Yeah.
chicken food.
I
Okay,
respect
you
the
know what?
answer
We'll
now.
worry about this another time. I will give you an answer on the summer edition of Morning Buzz. But I'll also be there Friday. Tomorrow, I'll try to give an answer then for all of you repeat listeners. We played about
Alright.
half of that interview with Jeff Athey before. If you want to listen to the rest of it, it will be available shortly on YouTube, the WMSC YouTube called WMSC Radio 903. Thank you for listening to the Thursday edition of the Morning Buzz throughout the spring 2021 semester.
Been an honor, guys.
That's
It's
I'm
fun,
glad
right.
to have,
everyone.
glad to
We
have
will
worked with all of
all
you.
be back during the summer on different days, but don't worry, we'll be back. Goodbye, everyone.
Godspeed. Stay golden, pony boy.